I want to look at another interesting game that we can play using a while loop. Okay, here's the idea with this one. We're going to do the following. Um, I guess we'll create the game first, and then we can put in a function. So create game where user tries to guess a number. Guess the first part. And in second part, and computer tells user whether guess is too high or too low. Okay. So let's think about first, what might that look like? Well, the computer is in fact picking the number, and then we're trying to guess it. But the computer's going to tell us if it's too high or too low. Okay, so first thing. Now, we can break down, once things get a little complicated, it can be helpful to break them down by comments. So this is a way of structuring code. So we can say, for instance, choose number. Computer generates number. Okay, we're going to do that by importing numpy as in p. And then we'll get the number will be random.rand int. Now, what is the range of the number? Well, frankly, I think it's kind of fun for the user to choose it. Okay. But do we want, I think this is where games can have levels. Maybe that can be a second level. Why don't we just do it between 1 and 100 for now? Okay. So it's a random number. And by the way, since it's a random number, you could call it a random number. It's also the number we're going to guess. Okay, anyway, so their computer generates number. What else do we need? We need user instructions. Okay, we have to tell the user what's going on here. So that's usually done with a print function, and we'll say print. And by the way, you're coding this with me, and you may have some variations. You may have like better, more concise ways of saying things. When it comes to programming games, you generally want to be concise. You don't want to go on for too long, because you want to kind of get to the point, which is playing the game. So you want to say something? Okay, so I have a secret number between 1 and 100. I want you to guess. Okay. But sometimes when I do a new line, I just do another print function. Additionally, I will tell you if the number is too high or too low. Okay. So there are the instructions for the user. What's next? Well, we need a way of getting input from the user, right? So we need a way to get user input. Okay, so this is going to be like the guess. Guess equals input. And then, can you guess the number? Okay, great. Okay, now comes kind of the interesting part. We want to, well, I guess before that, we actually, there are multiple parts to this. We want to check the guess, but then determine if it's too high or too low. So it's really like 3 parts when we check the guess. So it's check guess. And then we have to think about, we have to think about this structurally, okay? So when we're checking the guess, is it right or wrong? So if guess is equivalent to number, they did it, right? So what do we do here? Well, we can say, amazing, you got it. And when I think about it structurally, right? The idea is that once we're into this guessing game, we're in a while loop, okay? Because right, we don't know how many guesses it's going to take, so we want to run this over and over again for as long as guess doesn't equal number, okay? So why don't we go ahead and do that now? So let's create the while loop. And I'll just do it if guess is not equal to number. Now, to start this, Okay, right, there is no guess. So I think that's going to be an issue. So if we choose like a guess that we know is, we could choose a guess that we know is incorrect. Okay, then they're not going to be equal when we enter the loop. So I guess you could call that initialized for loop. While loop, excuse me. Okay. So I said if, I want to say, that's supposed to be while. It's while loop. While guess is not equal to number. And then this other code that we had inside of it, we're working on will go inside of the loop. Okay. So here's the idea, right? We set up the while loop so it has to initialize because this will always be be false on the first run. You guys make a little note there too as a why. Always not equal to number. Okay. Sometimes I don't like to crowd the code like that with extra comments, so I'm going to take it out. But there you see, that's the idea. Okay, so while guess not equal to number, can you guess the number? And now we do the check. Okay, so let's run through the check. So if that's the case, then when you come back, you're going to break out of the loop because they're going to be equivalent. Okay, otherwise we have two cases. One of the cases is that guess is greater than number, right? And so this is going to help the user guess the number. So if that's the case, then we want to print too high, okay? Maybe a little more. Maybe your guess is too high. Too high. Let's tell you, we're keeping it short. Yeah, sometimes I actually try them both in code and run and see what I like better. And then like try again. So what'll happen then, right, it's going to go back up here. It's not equal, and so it's going to run through again. Can you guess the number? Okay. And then the other possibility, oh, this is kind of fun. Color coding is really helpful. Like, do you guys see how this is red? And here it's not, it's black. You see what I did here? I put in the double quotes, but it should be consistent. So for me, it needs to be single quotes. You can use both doubles. Either way is fine. Else, the only other possibility is actually that number is in fact less than guess. I mean, guess is less than number, right? Because either if it's not equal or greater, then it has to be less. So in this case, print too low, try again. I think that will do it. I'm going to put everything in the while loop here. Now well, let's just try it. All right, shift enter. A lot of code there. So, the more code there is, the more likely that there are to be mistakes. So we can go back and fix them if there are. See, name random not defined. Okay, so can you all catch the error? Now, if you haven't worked with NumPy, you probably can't. But if you've done a little with NumPy at this point, maybe you can. Am I using NumPy? No, because I didn't say np, so it should be np.random. Go. Try again. Okay, I have a secret number between 1 and 100. I want you to guess. I will tell you if the number is too high or too low. Now, honestly, when I go through and read that, I'm like, that's too much. I'm going to change it. A secret number between 1 and 100. Try to guess. Making it a little shorter. I will tell you if it's too high or too low. Oh, look at that, right? I did the apostrophe and I lost the quote. So I can do the escape character, \. Now, it's running, so I'll go ahead and play. Okay, there's just some string changes. All right, so, right, and you could try to guess randomly. You could try to be strategic, right? 50 is right in the middle, so. Oh, that reminds me already. I forget this all the time, right? When we're entering the string, okay, so I'm going to stop this and run it again. Because we need to turn the number and the guess into a string. I'm sorry, or the check, right? So guess is a string, but number is not. So I think the strategy would be turn the number into a string. And then, it should be exactly the same because I can just do it up here. It feels wrong to convert the number into a string. Somehow it feels better to convert the the string into a number. Should we do that? Can we do it easily? I mean, it's supposed to be an int, right? So let's try that. Remember that trick though, you try a float first in case someone like tries to be funny and turn it into a float, because that prevents an error. So yeah, I think I'll just do it here. I'm going to reassign guess equals the int of the float of guess, right? And so there will be an error if it's not an integer or a float. Okay, let's try it again. I have a secret number between 1 and 100. Try to guess. I will tell you if it's too high or too low. I'm picky, you know. I like to shorten it right now. I will say whatever. Okay, so let's try the strategy now. 50. Too high. Okay, so I'm going to keep having it. 25. Too low. So now I know it's between 25 and 50. So what is it between 25 and 50? Can I get it exact? It's like 38-ish. Too high, so between 25 and 38. Let's try like 31. Too low. So it's between 25 and 31. Too low. So it's between, am I doing this right? 25 and 28. Wait, am I flipping it? I think I might be flipping it in my mind. Okay, 50 was too high, so we went down to 25. 25 was too low. Okay, if 25 was too low, it should be higher. 38, too high. 31 was too low, so it should be over 31. See, I did make a mistake. It's because I'm doing it strategically. We don't want it to take too long, right? So let's try now 35. Too high, 33. Too high, is it 32? Amazing! Out of the loop. It took a lot. Okay. So that's the idea of how to do the while loop to make this game. So little variations we can do just to show you quickly. Allow user to choose, I don't know, max number, you know. You could go like to, you know, you can make it shorter or like higher. All right. And how would you do that? Well, here's the game. Okay. So we could put all this into a game. Okay. So if I just copy this and I put it down here and I call it DEF, let's just call it number game. Yeah, paste it all in there. Now it doesn't tab, so I actually need to tab it. Okay. It's a lot of code here, right? All right. It's harder for me to scroll down than up somehow. And so if I go to the bottom and scroll up, oh man. Tab it all. And then what the number can be is max number. And then it can, instead of going from 1 to 100, it can go from 1 to the max number. Okay, let's do a really quick one, a short one, and see if it works. What is it called? Number game. I should get a better name for that. So, number game. And then let's just do it between, make it easy on ourselves, between 1 and 16. Press Shift Enter. Oh, it says between 1 and 100, so we need to change that. Between 1 and, this is where the F strings come into play, right? You put in the F string, and then this is going to be max number, not 100. And you know, this is how real coding works. You know, you run code, you try it out, you find the little mistakes, and you fix it. Now we know it's between 1 and 16, so I'll just go ahead. Okay, 8. Too low, 4. Too low, 2. Too low, it's got to be 1. Oh no. Made a mistake somewhere. Is it because I'm doing, oh, I see I'm doing it again. I'm going low, right? Okay, 8 is too low. It should be bigger than 8. I'm the one who's messing up. 12 is too high. It's between 8 and 12. 10. Bam! I got it with too many tries. There you have it. That's a fairly sophisticated game using a while loop. Cool game too. There's more that you can do with that. Have fun. Keep up the good work.